teammates and say, haha, you fell for my trap card.
Do not fall for Odessa's sweet face there.
No.
Because we know that behind that there is fierceness out on that battlefield, no matter what Pokemon they bring to the table. But, I mean, just to recap, for those folks that do not know, these are the top 2 teams from their regions. Nouns Esports had an incredible season, being able to come first in the majority of those monthly cups. Luminosity, on the other hand, well, they made Pokemon history at NAIC a couple of months ago, and they actually are 3 IC champions this year. LAIC, EUIC, NAIC. The thing is, can they get a step closer towards also securing that final international championship and getting, well, world championship for not the first time, not the second time, but the third time.
Yep.
Right? But now, this is the hurdle that they need to try and overcome. And I think just watching this game, especially because it has been such a long time coming, it really shows the evolution that Nouns has brought this season. They haven't really performed very well themselves at the IC. So if they end up progressing on through the semi-finals, this is the furthest that they would have ever come in an international championship so far.
Well, it's going to come down to the draft, whether or not they're going to be able to make that deep tournament run, Kel. So let's see what is going to be the priority bands for all of our teams. And already we're seeing some more adaptations here. Ho-Oh and Suicune removed from the pool by Nouns Esports, and Charizard and the Galarian Rapidash is going to be banned by Luminosity, which means we're going to be seeing Latios this game on Toon.
Yeah, Luminosity it was Curious that ended up playing it in that first game, but I guess when given that opportunity, no Charizard for Toon, they're going to lock in that Latios, but Trainer LGC, they're going to lock in this Dodrio once again, and Slash is opting for this Snorlax.
I'm just trying to think, do I want Slash on the Snorlax? I mean, he's a great player. He's a great Snorlax, but after that last round, I kind of think Nouns wants him on the Snorlax.
Really?
Yeah, I think they want him on the Snorlax because as great as Slash is on the Snorlax, he becomes a purely utility player once he's playing the Snorlax. I feel like there are certain other Pokemon he can play where he provides more than utility. He can actually really get those steals on those objectives, and he can really dish out some damage as well. But I mean, if this is the play for Slash, go for it.
You're talking about wild cards earlier, Dana.
I know.
We have a wild card here. We are
yes.
getting a Sableye pick, but the double bird, the double speed spot for Luminosity. This
and
is
the Zoro.
Final triple speedsters?
I can't.
One speedster for each of the ICs here, okay? And then, of course, the Sableye and Snorlax, but what on earth is happening?
I said I wanted Slash on a different Pokemon. Give me Sableye. I am down. I am down. That is very, very fun.
Wait, look at these builds.
Yep.
Goal getter, Zoroark, goal getter, Talonflame, goal getter, Snort. They're going in for Scorecon. Look at these score shields. Look at the Aeos Cookie. Luminosity, they're pulling out all of the stops this match. I don't know if this is too risky here, Donnelly.
I want to see Nouns' POV right now on the camera. I just want to see their faces. I want to see if there's confusion, if there is shock, if there is fear. Like what's going through their mind? I know you're confused. We can see your face, Kels. Don't worry. I want to see Nouns. Oh my gosh. I mean, look, I'm down for a bit of chaos. I didn't think the chaos would happen at Worlds of all places. Like maybe at IC, sure, you can go a little ham, but I mean, go this ham at Worlds, like yes, please.
World Championships. That is where the most eyes that you have on there, you know what I mean? You got to make a statement. These are some very bold plays from Luminosity Gaming. I don't know if we've really seen this play style from them either, so I'm wondering how it's going to pan out for them. But folks, this is going to be the last game, the last chance for both of these teams to land that final spot in the semi-finals against Peru Unite, one step closer towards that World Championship title. Nouns Esports on the purple side, Luminosity on the orange.
And oh, I just noticed there's been a bit of a steal. Slash is applying a lot of pressure to Gatlu in that central area, so it's gonna slow down Gatlu's progress in that central area. We'll have to see if he comes out of it rather safely. And looks like Gatlu was able to get the knockout there. So Slash, he did try to slow down the progress of Leafeon, but he got the knockout. I know Cal's getting a little excited here.
I was so distracted by Luminosity's chaos they were bringing. We have a Wigglytuff on the field.
Yep.
Bruv is playing Wigglytuff. I love this, except I don't love where he's getting himself poured into. Using the Sing to get the 3-person stun. Doesn't end up escaping though, but still, very bold movements.
Really bold movements, but it also gives a lot of space for the Latios to actually get that experience. So, you know, I kind of like this play, the fact that he's using the Wigglytuff just to be as a bait, as a trap, and also the Sing, you are going to be buffing up the attack from that Latios. It's going to be hitting harder. So I love the synergy of this pick, of this draft, but we have to see how this really pans out, because for Bruv, right, he really is going to be pivoting into that utility role, because Wigglytuff doesn't deal a lot of damage, but you are going to be amplifying damage. Yeah, your job is to amplify damage. You got to make sure your teammates are the ones doing it for you.
Well, we do have 10 seconds until these birds do spawn. Trainer LGC does end up getting caught on out and taken by that Leafeon. Slash trying to fight back as the Sableye. However, they're incredibly squishy and get cut down by those Razor Leaves, which means those two members from Nouns are able to soak up all of the experience from those Swabblers and Altara for themselves, leading Gatlu at level 8, now has the Unite move on hand.
Yeah, this early game is looking a little bit rough here for Luminosity, because we're seeing multiple knockouts across the board all over the map. As Nouns, they're the ones that are successfully grabbing these KOs, which means they're also grabbing experience and stealing away any AOS points that Luminosity are keeping in their pockets. And we're going to be seeing another knockout, even the Leafeon committing the Unite move. That's 3 KOs on the side of Luminosity. They're trying to play aggressive. They're trying to steal these AOS points away so they can go for the dunks, but they're being punished for the 3rd time in a row.
Yeah, I guess that's the risk. It really comes down to these points, but the thing is, are they able to sustain these fights considering how incredibly squishy they are? But, I mean, despite this, Luminosity are managing to keep up, because it's 65 to 62 in favor of Nouns Esports. We have both of those first objectives now on the map.
Well, it looks like it's very crowded in that top lane here. Kells with Luminosity grouping up, getting ready to go for an objective that Regieleki will be a perfect objective to grab themselves if they can get it. Slash going to be slowing down some of these Nouns players, but unfortunately only for a little bit. And because the Sableye is gone, you can tell that Luminosity no longer feeling confident trying to take that Regieleki up top, and instead will be pivoting towards that bottom lane instead. We're going to be seeing the goal-getter being used, but what was it used for? I guess they scored the points, but they get knocked out as well, so you're giving experience away. I love the fact that they're trying to go for the scoring comp, but if you are constantly being knocked out at the same time, I don't know how much of a lead you're going to be able to accumulate in this particular match.
Oh, honestly, I'm not really sure what to expect, but so far, Luminosity have managed to keep up. That goal-getter ticking is sending nightmares, not to my ears, but I think many members in the crowd. But Luminosity, they've successfully broken that top tier 2 pad, but at what cost? Because Latios just got 2 KOs. Once again, stacking that Eon energy for that later game.
Yeah, and you got 2 level 10s and a level 11 on the side of Nouns, whereas for Luminosity, they only have a level 10 Dodrio. Everyone else hasn't even broken out into those double digits, so the experience lead set by Nouns, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger unless somehow Luminosity is able to stabilize this mid game. And sure, they can keep scoring points, but there's only so much points are going to be able to do for you. Like, I think at a point, you kind of need to do something else aside from just scoring. They're in the enemy central area. Overlord is so low. Thankfully, no one can finish him off though, so he's going to be able to run away. But Luminosity, when they're not scoring, the team looks a little bit lost.
Well, I guess that is their whole name of the game. They've just got to get the AOS energy from the wild Pokemon, maybe a few KOs, and get these dunks. However, some really risky positioning and plays here, considering Nouns Esports have those jump pads available as we have passed that halfway mark. But at the moment, it's just a game of chess. Who's going to make this first move, as everybody is waiting in the tall grass. Slash trying to bait out the members by hitting their Swabblers at Altaria, but you're talking about traps. Nobody from Nouns is falling for that trap.
No, they're not. to say this is probably the quietest game of Pokemon Unite we've seen so far at Worlds, but we're going to be seeing some more scores being thrown out here by Luminosity, but they still can't overtake the point lead by Nouns. I mean, they're so desperate to try and break that point lead, and maybe the plan here, I remember this was something that happened a long time ago in Japan. I think some of you guys may remember Mame's team when they went for this score comp. Maybe the plan here for Luminosity, okay, things are looking a little bit whack now, but when they hit that end game, they're just going to try and grab those 50 points and they're all just going to go dunk in the enemy goal zone. They've still got 2 more minutes before they can even attempt a strategy like that, but I mean, Nouns, they've got to be expecting this, especially after seeing all the Pokemon and the items being selected by Luminosity. Looks like a big team fight is about to break out, and if Luminosity don't win this, I think things may just go really, really bad for them. Talonflame is able to get a quick score off, will be able to escape with the fly, but not flying far enough, it seems.
Not flying far enough to escape the havoc that Latios does bring, which does bring them up to level 13, but Goalgetter ends up being popped. Their score shield also ends up bursting, which means they're not able to successfully get that dunk. However, Slash did end up getting 19 points, and we're looking at this scoreboard, Danalee. Luminosity have finally broken through at 240 points to 186.
They need far more points than this. This is not enough points to make you feel confident that you're going to be able to take the rest of that game. So I think now is the time you start hoarding those points. Hoard those wild Pokemon, collect all that Eos energy, and get ready to absolutely rush one of these 2 side lanes down Nouns' lanes, because they've got to figure out a way to quickly score those points. Because Rayquaza, you know, I think Nouns, they either have 2 options or 3 options. Option 1, the most preferable, just knock Luminosity out, because if they're not on the map, they can't score a point. If that doesn't work, defend your goal zones. Hope you do enough damage to break through their score shield, but some Pokemon can't quite do that. So what is the third alternative? Maybe they take the Rayquaza themselves and they say, well, if you want to try and play a score game versus us, I think we can outcompete you.
Honestly, I have no idea what stops both of these teams are going to bring. All I know is that my heart is beating really fast. I don't know if anybody else's heart is beating really fast as we are creeping ever so closer towards that Rayquaza spawning. And, well, Luminosity looks like they're taking this positioning up in the central area, so they're not going for the play of those backcats, but an early triple treble. Are they going?
They're going to go for Rayquaza.
They are! Night moves are flying. Rayquaza is getting shredded on down, and Desu charges up their sword. They are successful. Don't get the steal, and this is Luminosity's chance to make some miracles happen for them.
Oh boy, Luminosity, they're going to be able to score their points. Oh no! They couldn't break, they broke the shield! The Talon didn't get to score. We only have a slight lead here on the side of Luminosity, and 3 Pokemon are down. I mean, is the play here for Nouns just to run down these side lanes because they have so many points, and if a team fight happens, I think Nouns wins every single team fight from here on out. They've just got to be careful when these Pokemon start to stagger their way as they jump onto this goal zone. They're going to send Brawl first. That's going to force the first jump there by the Snorlax. They're going to start scoring again. They're going to throw another body there in just a second. There comes the Talonflame. They're taking turns. They really want to make sure they can try and catch up one of these Nouns Pokemon, but so far they're not able to latch. And Luminosity, you can tell how afraid they are because they can't directly engage. They're running speedsters, but look on the map, they've got the Zora and the Talon deciding they're going to rush that bottom lane instead.
But look at that, Bruv going and knocking Luminosity out like a lullaby, leaving this goal on 2 points. That is going to be a 98 overcap. 40 seconds left on the clock, 384 to 418. But we have this Talonflame. Kyrios getting in another 94 points, making it ever so difficult for Nouns Esports to come on back. But the Sing from that Wigglytuff to go and give them that shield that they ever so need. Do they have enough Chaos energy on hand because of those backcaps? I don't think so.
After Turn went down, I don't think they have enough anymore, pals. I think Luminosity may have been able to pull the defense successfully here with 10 seconds to go. Nouns have been cleared, and Luminosity, they have done it. They have broken through with a score comp.
Match win to Luminosity Gaming from the North America region. One step closer towards the World Championship title, but there's still more hurdles. But there we go. They've seen the score. They are celebrating just like the crowd. But honestly, I've got to say, one word, absolute ridiculousness. How did they pull that off?
I think this is an ace up their sleeve. This is not something that you just suddenly decide to bring onto the world stage. This is one of those crazy ideas where the team gets together for a couple of drinks and they say, guys, we need to have a crazy strike. We need to have a wild night. And somehow during that session, this is how the strat was born.
Oh, well, they're definitely taking some inspiration, as you mentioned earlier. We have seen that strat before, but you know what? Luminosity Gaming, they were managing to do it once back in 2022 in that grand finals, and they have done it a second time against Nouns Esports, even after all of these years. But you know what? I've got to say, that was probably one of the best sets I have enjoyed casting with you this weekend.
This is memorable, I'll say that. Definitely difficult to forget a game like this. So, congratulations, Luminosity. I mean, this is just another step for this team up the run. They're not done yet. We're not even at grand finals. This was just the quarterfinals. They still have to win their semi-final match. And then the next stage with this team, obviously, if they can win the semi-finals, you gotta win at that grand final match as well. But it's not over. I think they've revealed, if this is not their craziest strat, I don't know what to say about this team anymore.
The thing is, they run it once. Would you be bold enough to run it twice? I'm not sure. It ended up working this time, but yes, there is still another hurdle to come that is waiting for Luminosity Gaming. Peru Unite, and I feel like these two teams, they have squabbled so much this season at those international championships. I am really looking forward to how that one ends up panning out, but all I know is all those LG fans at home and in the crowd, take those deep breaths.